It's time for Temple of the Infinite Radio, and time for the announcer guy to unmute his mic. Well, greetings again this morning, everybody. This is Frater Ralph with Temple of the Infinite Universe Radio Podcast. And as you can tell, I am still learning this control board here on this network. I'm getting the hang of it. This is day 2 or 3 day 2 I've been doing this as a steady podcast. And I'm going to keep right on doing it until I get it right. Today's topic is going to be problems in tarot reading, chance versus certainty. And yesterday I was talking about how accurate tarot readings can be, and sometimes how inaccurate tarot readings can be, and why that is. And today I'm going to focus on what I had set out as being my second problem that I see tarot readers having in their art of doing readings. And that is the understanding that there is a chance of something happening, and that is different from there being a certainty of something happening. I'm going to use a concrete example, a very sad example that I heard of, probably about more or less like 20 years ago, how time flies. But there was a man who married a woman, and he was an older gentleman, and he married a woman who was quite a bit younger. And of course, you know what they say in situations like that. Sometimes the family will be concerned and say, oh, she's just out for his money. This will never work out, blah, 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 blah. And that's exactly what happened in this case. The daughter of the man was rather insecure about her father's new wife, and so she went to a tarot reader, and she asked the tarot reader, is this woman going to be cheating on my dad? And the tarot reader didn't really have a problem doing that reading. And from my understanding, now I'd never actually met this person, but there are some tarot readers who are very good at figuring out what the client wants to hear. They're not necessarily concerned with telling the truth or giving helpful advice. They're just all about telling the seeker what they think the person wants to hear. And of course, this tarot reader thought that this young woman wanted to hear that this wife was no good for her dad, and look out for her. You know, there's trouble on the way. Something's going to happen here. And so the tarot reader laid out the cards and read the spread and looked at this woman and said, oh yeah, your dad is in terrible trouble here. This woman is cheating on him right now. She is cheating on him at her place of employment. He really needs to crack down on her, or else this marriage is over. And this young lady went back and told this prediction to her dad. And it was presented, at least when this story was told secondhand, This reading was presented to this man as if it were a certainty, and he believed it. He he was not a skeptic, and in this case, being a skeptic would have saved his marriage, but he was not a skeptic. And he talked to his wife. They had been happily married for I think about 3 years before this tarot reading episode came into play. And what had happened is that over the course of those 3 years, this man went from being gainfully employed to having a very nice income, a pretty nice, easy life, to being unemployed, scraping by, trying to start up his own business because he lived in an area where jobs were very hard to find. And he was very insecure, not just emotionally, but financially. And when he heard the reading, admittedly, it was related to him secondhand, that his wife was having an affair at work and was cheating on him. And he took that for gospel, and his insecurities just came out in spades. And he confronted her and he said, I know you're cheating on me. I know you're cheating on me, blah, 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 blah. And his wife went from being happily married to being confronted with this crazy madman, being accused of an affair that she was not having. And he became very domineering, became very possessive. He just turned into the classic overbearing, dominant, chauvinistic pig kind of husband person. And she did not like it. And he created the conditions. And this, I cannot overstate this enough. We're not talking about, in this case, a prophecy being fulfilled. We are talking about a tarot reading that turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy, a tarot prediction that turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy. This man believed so strongly that his honest wife was having an affair that he, over the course of about a year, created the conditions which forced her out of that home and seeking divorce. She never did cheat on him. She never did cheat on him. But he was so convinced that she was cheating on him that he drove her away. And I'm not going to blame this all on an inept tarot reader, because certainly he bears a lot of the responsibility too. But we have to be careful when we make predictions, especially predictions of a very sensitive nature like that. We have to keep in mind that there is a difference between there being a chance of something happening and there being a certainty of something happening. And we also have to keep in mind that sometimes if a person believes in our reading strongly enough, we could be setting up the conditions for a self-fulfilling prophecy. Other classic examples of we've seen on media. I've never heard of this happening in real life, but I would not be surprised to hear it, but where a person goes in for a tarot reading and they want to know about their health. Am I in good health? Do I have a long life ahead of me? Tarot reader, without even thinking about the consequences, looks at the person and says, oh no, here, the cards say you're going to die. You're going to die within a week. And then within a week, the seeker actually thinks his or herself to death, just out of fear, or just out of paranoia, or just out of trying to prove that, hey, the cards are right, the cards can't lie. And the cards don't lie, but the cards can be misinterpreted. And that's where the tarot reader really has a huge responsibility in doing a reading. We have to be able to tell the client what the client needs to hear, not just what the client wants to hear. And we need to be able to present it in a warm, compassionate, understanding way. There are some tarot readers out there that advertise, I don't sugarcoat anything. I'm real tough. I'll give you the truth whether you like it or not. And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes, we need a compassionate pat on the back, and sometimes we need a swift kick in the ass. Wisdom is knowing the difference. And that is the responsibility of the tarot reader. You really have to search your gut and find out, be inspired by spirit, seek the truth. What does this person really need to hear? And I'm not, sometimes tarot readers are stroking their own egos. I'm 99.9% accurate all the time, every day, every minute of every day. And, that's not necessarily true, but there's a lot of folks that advertise it. And we have to approach the art of tarot reading with humility and also with confidence. And this may seem like a contradiction, but we have to be confident that we're making this connection with the world of spirit and with the client. And we have to be confident that we are presenting the truth as we understand it. But we also have to have the humility that every once in a while, we can be wrong. And we have to let the client know that sometimes these readings need to be taken with a good grain of salt. Because just because there's a chance of something happening doesn't mean there is a certainty of something happening. If a person comes in to me for a tarot reading and they want to know, am I going to be financially secure, for this month? And the cards come up and indicate, well, yeah, you got strong energy for financial success. Go out there and go for it. And they think, okay, that's a certainty. I'm going to be a financial success no matter what I do. So the person goes back home. They don't go into work. They lay in bed for a week. They do nothing, take no action. And then they wake up after a week's time, find out they've lost their job, they've lost a paycheck, their finances are even in worse shape than they were when they began, and they're facing eviction. If a good reading, a good outcome is given in a reading, and the person does nothing to help bring that outcome into fruition, then 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say that outcome, that predicted outcome, may not happen. And the reverse of that is also true. If a negative outcome is given, and the person thinks, oh my God, it's terrible. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to make sure that this does not come about. And they do it in a sane, wise, rational manner. Then that negative outcome can be avoided. Tarot does not take away our free will. We still have a responsibility. We still have our own free will. We need to act when appropriate, but we don't need to act in inappropriate ways. And when we hear of a certain possibility that's given in a tarot reading, we need to keep in mind that just because there's a chance of something happening does not necessarily mean it is a certainty. It's kind of like the weather report. Weather report yesterday said there was a negative chance of rain. And you know what? We had some clouds, we didn't get some rain. Weather report also said that we have an excellent chance for rain today, and I don't see it. Just because there's a chance of something happening doesn't mean that there is a certainty of something happening. So when people come to us for tarot readings, we need to be careful. State the truth as we see it, and be compassionate in giving our readings, and let the person know that you still have your free will. You still have your responsibility to act, to go out there and do your job. This Reading here can be a confidence builder. It can give you a warning of things that might be, but, don't stake your entire future on a deck of cards. I'm going to take a short break, and we will be back to wrap this up. All right, I've noticed on my control panel that we have had some connection problems, and it does look like we are back on the air now. I'm not exactly sure how much of this is getting out there, but we'll continue on as if everything is fine and dandy. Here at Temple of the Infinite Universe, we're all about trying to help people. We're all about building understanding, building positive interfaith relations through dialogue, through just not dialogue in the sense of, and well, this isn't true dialogue anyway, but some people think that dialogue is going out there and trying to convert somebody to their religion. And that's not dialogue. That's not what I'm talking about here. We're talking about dialogue that says, I want to listen to the truth you have to convey from your own life, your own religious and or spiritual tradition. It's not about trying to convert somebody. And to some people, that may be their entire purpose in entering into a dialogue with somebody. Said, hey, I'm, why don't you come to my church? Hey, come over. We're having pizza and all that. That's not dialogue. That's trying to bribe somebody into going to your church. But dialogue is presenting the truth as you understand it, and then listening to the truth that the other person has to convey to you. And at the end of this dialogue, hopefully, we all walk away richer, more enlightened, happier, better, more humane human beings. And that's part of our purpose here, is to facilitate a dialogue. And of course, to do that, I can't be sitting here every morning just talking to myself. We are working on bringing in some pretty good speakers, some pretty good folks who either are people of note, people of good reputation, I mean, celebrities, and also people who are just common everyday practitioners of their own spiritual path or religious tradition. And we're going to engage these people from the high and mighty to the average Joe out on the street or average Jane on the street, and talk about spirituality. What is it that you do? What is the benefit of this practice? Would you recommend it? How does this work for you? And hopefully through the course of these dialogues that we are going to get going here on Temple of the Infinite Radio, we'll all learn and we'll all grow. And another feature I would like to add in the very near future, I want to make this podcast as interactive as possible. I want to start taking questions from listeners. What do you want to hear? What are some of your concerns when it comes to religion or spirituality? Or what are some of your questions? And even what are some of the speakers that you would like to hear? I may not be able to get all the speakers that you request, but I will try. And just let me know. There are various ways that we can do this too. We are on Facebook, Temple of the Infinite Universe. We have a group on Facebook. We also have a page on Facebook. You can contact me, Frater Ralph, through Twitter. I think there is a function here on Spreaker where we can send messages to one another. And I notice we also have a chat board, which I am going to be learning how to use, hopefully within the next few broadcasts or so. I am still learning, but each day it's getting just a little bit better. So that's it for now. This is Frater Ralph with Temple of the Infinite Universe, signing off and wishing blessings upon your day.